जी मैम। नमस्कार। सीबीएसई स्क्वाफ वेबिनार सीरीज की श्रृंखला का आज पहला दिन है और हमारे साथ पूरे देश के विभिन्न सीबीएसई स्कूलों के प्रधानाचार्य और अध्यापक यूट्यूब के लाइव चैनल सीबीएसई के यूट्यूब लाइव चैनल से जुड़ चुके हैं। हमारे साथ बहुत सारे प्रिंसिपल्स, बहुत सारे टीचर्स यूट्यूब पे मैं देख सकती हूँ ऑलरेडी जुड़ गए हैं और हमारे साथ हमारी आज की रिसोर्स पर्सन शांति मैम भी जुड़ चुकी हैं। हमारे साथ सीबीएसई के विभिन्न अधिकारी, हमारी चेयरपर्सन मिस निधि छिब्बर वो भी जुड़ चुकी हैं। हमारे जितने कोर रिसोर्स पर्सन हैं जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत से स्क्वाफ का पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट तैयार किया है वो भी आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, उन सबका धन्यवाद। अभी मैं हमारी डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर प्रज्ञा एम सिंह से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो आप सबको एक फॉर्मल वेलकम करेंगे।
Thank you, Anjali. Namaskar. It's going to be 3 years of the launch of National Education Policy. And the policy focuses on the quality education in schools, as we all of us know about that. Schools have the most important role in the systemic improvement. To fulfill this vision of NEP, CBSE has prepared the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework, SQAAF, and this has also been integrated with the affiliation process from March 2023. Today's webinar series is the result of visionary leadership of Honorable Chairperson Ma'am, who has always focused on maximum facilitation for the stakeholders. This series of webinars on SQAAF will help all schools to become familiar with the domains and processes involved in the SQAAF so that they are able to meaningfully complete the self-assessment, all that needs to be completed by December 23. I welcome Honorable Chairperson Ma'am to today's program. I also welcome the fellow officers who have joined today for this session. Welcome all principals and teachers of CBSE schools who have joined us today in this series of webinars. Now I request Chairperson Ma'am to kindly address the participants.
Good evening, everyone. Our Director Assessment, Pragya Singh, and her team members. I can see Anjali only. All the principals who have joined us in this webinar. Just to give a background, there has been a lot of demand from school principals that CBSE should handhold us, SQAAF, the format which a school has to fill up for SQAAF is quite bulky. Many of the principals and teachers are unaware of how it is to be filled. And there were a lot of concerns since this year we have made it mandatory for any school which is going to apply for any kind of affiliation related services to the board to fill up SQAAF. It was our way to ensure that every school undertakes this important activity, and that is why it was made mandatory. But we do recognize the need for handholding, and this is the reason why the academic unit has planned the series of webinars and have gathered their resource persons to give all of you an idea of what SQAAF is, how will it benefit you and your school. I want to make something very clear that, you can look at SQAAF. Many people have told that you are kind of, superimposing things on us as if we don't have quality. SQAAF, by the way, all of you must be knowing that it stands for Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework. So, I mean, a very, very natural response is that, I run a good CBSE school, and do you think I don't have quality? So, it's not that. Many of you do have your own standards. Many of you surpass your own standards. But when we talk of an ecosystem, we talk of more and more schools. Not everyone is at the same level. If you know, CBSE has a wide range of schools, and many of them need handholding to achieve what we are trying to achieve. When we talk of quality, it is, when you talk to a parent, they would like to send their children to quality schools. But how to define quality, how to assess it, how to measure it. And I think SQAAF document lays down very clearly on what is expected, what are the minimum expectations from a school, which not only a parent has, but which we in the board have, which other stakeholders, teachers and principals should also have from their own school. And there have been complaints. It's a very bulky document. It takes time, and many people don't have time, so they are filling whatever they feel like. So my response to that is, this is a functionality which we are providing to you. It is up to you how you look at it. If you look at it as an obstruction, it will be. If you look at it as facilitation, it will be a facilitation tool for you. By defining the kind of quality a school should have in various domains, be it human resources, be it infrastructure, be it pedagogy, I think it lays down a framework where every school can aim to achieve a certain standard. And let me tell you, this is not something which this is not a race that we have to achieve a certain level of quality. It's an ongoing process. You may reach a certain level, but there will always be a scope for more improvement. It's a journey which you have to take, and I think it's a very good initiative in that it tells you that this is your first level which you have to achieve. This is how you go to the second level, and so on and so forth. So I hope all of you will benefit from this series of webinars. I would encourage you to make it a very interactive session. The resource person, of course, will be sharing their inputs, the way it has to be filled and what does each domain stand for. But you should also take this opportunity to resolve any doubts which you have, any suggestions which you have to make it more dynamic, so to say. And we would look forward to that. As I said, nothing is set in stone. This is a framework which we have created. There is always a scope for improvement, even in the framework. So I'm sure when more and more schools get into this exercise, we will get a good feedback. And I think we have also made a provision, at least in this first year, to pick up randomly some schools which fill up SQAAF and go and see physically whether what they have filled up is as per the ground situation. But in the coming years, if a school wants CBSE or its experts to check, the way they are assessing themselves under SQAAF, I think we will be coming up with that functionality also. So my best wishes to this seminar, and I hope it is useful, and we are trying to help you in, coming on board this new thing we have started. And the ultimate idea is that all CBSE schools should have a minimum level of quality in various school domains. And of course, I'll be very happy if most of you surpass those minimum requirements. So with those words, thank you very much for inviting me and making me a part of this function today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You have almost set the tone for the rest of the session. And now I'll invite Shanti ma'am for the webinar today on introduction of SQAAF. Let me introduce to all of you to Shanti ma'am. Shanti Krishnamurthy ma'am is Director Academic and Assessment, CCMT Education Cell, and she has been associated with developing of SQAAF material, various modules, and she has been instrumental in shaping the whole SQAAF module in its present stage. So we are thankful to you, ma'am, for agreeing to be introducing the session. I think introduction or introductory sessions are always more, you have more pressure when you are given the time, the responsibility of starting any session. So thank you for taking that responsibility. And I'm sure with you introducing the full program, I think half of the battle will be won. So the stage is yours, ma'am. Please.
Thank you so much, Anjali ma'am. It's indeed a privilege for me to be a part of this wonderful movement, education movement that's happening. I'd like to start my PowerPoint presentation and go ahead with it. Yes. So today we are going to go through the introductory session for the SQAA framework. And let me extend a warm welcome to all the principals and the school teachers and the school leaders who have gathered here. And my greetings to all of you, and my pranams to the chairman for being a part of this wonderful introductory session. And what we have planned is the webinar series. We have thought of having 13 sessions, and today we are on the first session. The program has been launched by our chairman. Now we are going to go through the introduction session. We have designed it in such a way that by the end of these 13 sessions, you get an absolute clarity of the session. And the sequence for today's session, we have organized it this way. I'll be talking about what is SQAA and why the need for the school quality assessment and affirmation, and talk about the objectives of the webinar series that has been planned. Also, we'll be taking you to introduced to the SQAA framework, and also we'll be sharing with you the approach that was taken in drafting the SQAA framework, and also guiding you through the framework, how to read the framework and understand it, and also look at understand the learner profile that was kept in mind before drafting the framework. And we expect that at the end of the day's program today, session today, you will be able to understand how to make a core team. And also, I'll be taking you through the overview of the SQAA process. That's about what is planned today. At the national level, the government has initiated several measures. Like one of them is the School Education Quality Index, which was launched in 2016. It was a platform for states and union territories to identify the strengths and weaknesses in the area of school education and undertake a requisite course corrections or policy interventions. It was actually developed to evaluate the performances of the states and in the school education sector. It aims to bring out outcomes education to the focus on the education policy by providing them with a platform to identify their strengths. And it was in line with the NITI Aayog's mandate. It fostered the spirit of competitive and cooperative federalism. The index strived to facilitate the sharing of knowledge and the best practices across the states and the union territories. And later, we also had in 2017 the Performance Grading Index, a tool to provide insights on the status of school education in states and UTs, including the key levers that drive that performance and critical areas for improvement. In 2018, SDG India Index was launched, which tracks the states, which allows the states to track their progresses on the parameters like health, education, economic growth, climate change, and environment. All these measures initiated by the central government are, however, were at the macro level, whereas the NEP 2020 has recommended the creation of an ecosystem for assessment and accreditation of schools, so that at the micro level, schools may be encouraged for setting their priorities to improve the school quality, improve quality of the educational outcomes. Historically, school inspection and supervision by education authorities were in practice. And normally the inspection was generally conducted without explicit criteria. But of course, some states like Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka have taken initiatives regarding school assessment, monitoring, and accreditation. However, well-defined standards reflecting the schooling processes were not adequately addressed earlier. NEP recommendation recommends that states and UTs will set up state school authorities for the standard authority to monitor all schools and a set of basic minimum standards to run a school. These standards will be basic parameters of school quality, such as infrastructure, safety, security, number of teachers across subjects and grades, financial probity, and sound process of governance. And CBSE was as a standard setting authority to act as a standard setting authority for the Kendriya Vidyalayas, JNVs, and other schools under various central ministries, and frame parameters against which the schools can be addressed for quality interventions. So to increase the quality of educational outcomes, a standards framework, School Quality Assessment Assurance Framework, has been developed by CBSE. It consists of set of standards and best practices. It also acts as a tool for accomplishing individual and institutional excellence. At this juncture, we should also understand very clearly it is just a means to an end and not an end by itself. This understanding itself is the first step towards quality improvement process. It can also be used as measures for our benchmarks for quality of school performance and outcomes. As I'm taking you through the session, whenever you have any questions, I request all of you to put it in the chat box. We have a team of experts who will be answering it, your questions and queries, taking it forward. And in case we have allocated the last 10 minutes for question answer sessions, if you have any questions there I shall try to address it at the last session, the last 10 minutes. And now, why SQAAF? Having understood what the SQAAF framework is about, why SQAAF framework? Every school has a lot of processes and procedures, but SQAAF provides an opportunity to keep a watch on the trajectory of development. Is the school progressing further? That it acts as a very important tool there. And also it engages in an ongoing process of review. As I already mentioned to you, SQAA is not an end. It is a means towards taking the school towards an end. It goes on a continuous process of review and reflection process happen. And thus it completely assures you of continuous improvement. Okay, it allows schools, provides a platform to contemplate and take improvement projects for the growth of the institution. And another very important thing is that it reassures all the stakeholders about the school's aspiration for continual improvement. The human resource is the essence of any organization. And it gives the message to the entire stakeholders, the school's aspiration for continual improvement. And it beautifully nurtures and develops a culture for collaboration and provides opportunities for innovation and accountability therein also. And adherence to quality standards as envisaged in NEP 2020. That's one of the very, very important thing we need to understand. The SQAA framework, directly the NEP recommendations have been mapped into the SQAA framework, which is a very big advantage to us. So what are the outcomes that we expect out of this webinar series? One is understand the relevance and importance of the common standards framework for bringing about standardization in all the countries across the country, all the schools across the country. And also understand SQAA framework and how well it has been mapped with the national education policy. And also help schools to develop system thinking approach if they do not have already one in place. And also understand the importance of documenting and also appropriate supporting documents which can reflect the impact on the student outcome. And participants will also be able to make a core team involving all the stakeholders at the end of this webinar series. And there will be a lot of clarity for you to make a core team. And also you will be able to do the self-assessment of your own school systems. And then therein, identify the gaps and make plans for improvement. Course corrections are possible. You will be able to develop plans for improvement. And assess your school practices, periodically ensuring continuous improvement. Periodically, when schools keep reviewing, you will see that continuous improvement is assured therein. And today's session, we plan to give you, create an awareness on quality, system thinking approach. And the approach also, I'll be sharing with you the approach that was adapted while drafting the framework. And also we'll be highlighting how NEP has been mapped with SQAA very, very beautifully. Overall, provide a clarity on the SQAA framework. That is the main objective of today's session that we are going to do for the next 1 hour. So first, let me take you through the approach that was taken before drafting the SQAA framework. Every school leader, you'll see that when you take up SQAA, it was aimed such a way that school leaders feel empowered to take up SQAA. It is your own processes, and you take up your own self-assessment and see that you are improving on it. So the growth and self-esteem is assured for the leaders, and it empowers leaders in such a very, very beautiful manner. Because your process, and you have a team yourself, and you work on and evaluate the process and review the process. That's what SQAA gives an opportunity for that. And SQAA is a complete holistic. All parameters of school functioning has been integrated seamlessly into one whole. You will see that there are 7 domains there. You will see every domain addresses the various aspects of your school. It's complete in all aspects. If you look at the SQAA framework and the various subdomains, you'll see that everything is seamlessly integrated into one whole. That also reminds us to understand very clearly, as you're implementing the SQAA, understanding SQAA framework and taking up self-assessment, important for us to look everything into as a whole picture. The holistic approach should be taken by the schools, not look at each domain individually in isolation. That's another very important thing for us to understand. And there was a very purpose was kept in mind to encourage self-assessment by school, self-reflection to bring about improvement in life and work to create overall well-being. It is not that someone from outside is going to come and assess you. You yourself assess your own processes. You decide where you want to go, and you decide how I have to reach there. It is completely a process which is taken up by the school leaders along with the core team. That was what the way we looked at while framing the SQAA framework. And the wonderful thing about SQAA framework is that when you apply the standard, you will see that the student, the learning outcome will get completely enhanced. Anything and everything we do in what we are talking about, the various standards here, the main goal, the main purpose is to enhance student learning outcome. So that is the central aspect of the SQAA framework, is to improve the student learning outcome, how we can enhance it, and how we can provide that opportunity. SQAA gives a platform for you to do that. And it's a non-threatening process. The process is absolutely non-threatening. You can complete, school leaders can take up the process, and at a convenient pace. There is a given time frame, but you can take it and do it in your own convenient pace. It is non-threatening, and we are not taking up SQAA. Schools, I would like to mention about it. Let us not take up SQAA just for the sake of the CBSE mandate or the government mandate. Let us take up SQAA in its true spirit. There you will see the outcome is going to be amazing. Outcomes are going to will be experiencing it. And the SQAA framework has absolute clarity.
I told you that school number you made.
I think it has somebody is muted. Please can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. So it's a clarity. There's absolute clarity in the SQAA framework. If you take it and read it, you will see that everything is self-explanatory and everything is very, very clear. That clarity is one of the very important aspects of the SQAA manual. And it is adaptable. It is contextual. What we do in the southern part of the country may not be the same. In the culture may be different. The environment may be different. The practices may be different. SQAA provide you the opportunity to retain the texture of whatever is available in our own places, but see how we can implement SQAA to see that the student learning outcome gets enhanced. That's a very beautiful thing about SQAA. You don't have to, what is happening in the northern part of the country or the western part of the country may be totally different from what's happening in the southern part of the country. But your own way, your culture around your place, your systems, your processes, everything, you can take it in your own way. Adapt SQAA. It is adaptable, contextual. Everybody can adapt it to your own procedures. And confident and better equipped schools. It aims to prepare confident and better equipped schools. As Chairman mentioned, when she launched the program today, she clearly mentioned CBSE plans to do a lot of hand-holding, support, and mentorship. As you take up the process, you really want to implement it in the true spirit, you could write to CBSE, ask for help and ask for mentorship, which will be provided to you. We have been working on it since 2020. We've worked on a lot of mentors, mentoring. Mentors have been already, they're trained for it and take up this. There are a lot of experts all over the country going to provide support to the schools when they want to take it up. And of course, as I already mentioned, creation of an enabling learning environment in school happens. The culture of looking at improving ourselves is being given by SQAA. You can see that when you take up SQAA, your continual improvement happens because it is not a one-time process that we take. It is a process periodically we go through the process, we do something, we improve a system, we redesign a policy, redefine a policy, and then you can take a call after 2 years, 3 years, or 1 year, the period, you can decide and do a review again and reflect again and see where are you now? Is it working? And maybe you can realign something and you can make changes, adapting to the changes that are happening in the society. The futuristic approach can be taken by leaders to provide an overall impact on that. You'll see that slowly and gradually and in a very, very, very beautiful manner, schools keep growing, and that assures you of the continual improvement. And common quality standard assessment framework for all the schools across the country. It is a completely standardization. What is applied to a school in a remote place, what is in a school, in a city school, in a place, in a city, in a metro city, or in a different parts of the country. It is standardized in so beautifully that anybody and everybody, the framework is same, common for all the schools across the country. That's another way beautifully it has been framed. So what are the values that we are expecting to the framework is going to nurture in our schools? You'll see that the promotion of use of technology is going to happen when you're working on it. You'll see that there's a lot of scope for improving. The technology transformation is possible when you take up SQAA. These are all our outcomes that are going to be the school going to be benefited. And also understand the value that everything depends on each other. Each domain depends on each other. The people in an organization, the human resource, everybody depend on each other. The interdependence, you will understand the value of everybody working together, the interdependence of the departments together, the teachers to the principal and the parents and the thing, you will understand. And also the various domains, how infrastructure has an impact on the learning outcome of the child. All that you'll get a value will be added on to the schools to understand that, not to ignore any of the aspects of the domains, so that we are completely holistically schools improve. And it provides a scope for schools to take up research and innovation. I'm sure you are aware, it is one of the NEP recommendations, and it allows schools to take up research and innovation. Innovation will be nurtured when you're taking up SQAA. The values that we are expecting to come out of people taking up SQAA, schools are taking up the implementing SQAA. We really expect them that they are going to have an innovation, will become a culture of the school. That is what is going to be the benefit of schools taking up SQAA. And enhancement in employability skills. You know that so many employments have gone away today. If you see about a last decade to this decade, there's so many kinds of employments are not available now. It's gone out of the framework for scope for children to aspire for that. So being futuristic in something very, very important. What was happening in the past is not happening today, and we are getting ready for the future. We are going to be ready, making children getting ready for the future. What is the enhancement in the employability skills in children? It's also being given a lot of scope in the focus on SQAA. And nationalism, putting oneself above the nation. It's something very, very important. And there are factors in the SQAA framework. When you're working, you will see that it will be nurtured in children that belonging to the country and putting themselves above the nation. It's something very, very beautiful that you'll see that. I always say that SQAA is not a school quality framework to put things quality in place alone. It is a nation building exercise, and we are being a part to it. So please understand our role and how we can contribute to the nation on a whole. And creating global citizens. There are a lot of opportunities when you take up SQAA. You will be making children as a global citizens. The Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, that's what we are talking about. We had the latest G20 summit. That was a topic taken by our Honorable Prime Minister. And that concept is nurtured in SQAA. The SDG goals are being taken as part of SQAA, and how we can handle it, how we can sensitize children to these goals. That is, we do some activities in schools, but are we sensitizing children to these sustainable development goals is something which is going to address, because everywhere we go, look at whether it is making an impact on the child, whether whatever activity, whatever standards we are taking, what is the impact on the child. To do that, what should be done? So overall, it translates for the users. So how does it help the school? How does it help the principal of a school? It is going to empower. You can be rest assured of being empowered by taking up SQAA. And the holistic approach provides not leaving out any of the aspects of the school functioning. You will be attending every aspect of the school functioning. And it is a self-assessment. You're going to reflect on it. Normally, we get very busy with the daily activities, daily schedules, there's daily challenges happen. We fail to stop for a minute and look at what we are doing. It acts like a speed breakers for us when you're going on the journey of running schools. SQAA journey makes you understand that I have to stop a while and see what I'm doing, whether what I'm doing is in right place or what more I should do. Can I do some modifications to my processes? Can I see how I can improve? So self-assessment is a very, very beautiful tool to do it. I think only people in a school can assess the school in a very, very perfectly. Outsiders cannot assess it so beautifully, but school, inside the school, the teachers, the students, the parents together then assess the school. So that gives a scope for the SQAA, gives a scope for that. And the student learning of outcomes, you will see automatically we are nurturing skills in children. The skills are getting developed in children as we are taking the school and all. For a student, it's a completely, he's going to acquire so many skills. At the end of it, you're going to see that how the student and learning enhancement happens in the classroom. And also it is a non-threatening completion of the process at an inconvenient phase and self-explanatory. The clarity of you can download the SQAA manual framework and you can go through it. You will see that it makes everything very, very beautifully clear. And adaptability, I already mentioned about it, in your own contextual, in your own place, how you can adapt it. And a lot of hand-holding and support and mentorship will be provided by CBSE. At least the next 1 year, anybody would like to have some support, CBSE is going to help them to work it and look at SQAA in its true spirit, not as a mandate, not as what documents I should prepare so that I can show it to CBSE, but looking SQAA as in the true spirit. And when thus implemented, you will see complete your learning environment in the school gets boosted up in such a beautiful manner, and common quality standards. It's not that for some schools, metro schools, we have a different standard. For a school in a remote place, or a village school or anywhere, you have a different standard. It's all the same. And I want to capture your attention onto this beautiful, the tagline, which is SQAA tagline, encouraging self-evaluation, accountability, collaboration, and innovation. The tagline of SQAA, and that is what is the benefit that is expected for people taking SQAA as a process. So the guiding principles, it's a very realistic and implementable standards to bring a transformational change. You see that we have a lot of transaction in the school, classroom teaching, the methodology, the content itself, and the methodology, and how we assess children, and various activities they conducted. We have celebrations, activities. All these transactions should lead to transformation that is possible by SQAA. I think it's a very, very beautiful solution that is coming on our hands by CBSE. We should take it and implement it and enjoy the outcome that's going to happen therein after that. So only through individual transformation, the society can transform. When a society transforms, you can think of a nation's transformation. And there is no differential set of criteria for government-aided school, private schools. And learner is at the center stage of the SQAA framework. And NEP recommendations are the guiding force, which are being, everybody is now wondering, NEP recommendations have come in, how am I going to implement? SQAA will lead you into implementing the national education policy. And also we have kept in mind to ready for this 21st century learner, and we want to produce children coming out the learner profile, reflective, self-aware, caring, compassionate, responsible, open-minded, principled, a risk taker, confident, communicator, collaborator, engaged, inquirer, problem solver, decision maker, critical and creative thinker, innovator, and balanced. We are aware that in a classroom we have diverse children with different attributes of them, how the SQAA can nurture all of them, and we take care of all of them, and we make them good, the transformation happening to them when they leave our school organization. I would also like to draw your attention to the National Education Policy 2020. It aims to establish India as a global education destination. Envisions India-centric education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equivalent and vibrant knowledge society by providing high-quality education to all. When our Honorable Prime Minister released the National Education Policy, he made the statement saying that implementing the National Education Policy, we will be creating a new India. And he has also mentioned India will become a global education destination, such an ambitious vision, and it's very important how we are going to take it forward. Though transforming our nation is possible only when the transformation that happens at an individual level in our classrooms, and in our teachers take it up in a very beautiful manner to transforming whatever they do in the class becomes a value to the child, that he emerges out as a global citizen. And some of the NEP recommendations that we have just highlighted here, competency-based teaching, all the standards in the domains have been framed keeping in mind these NEP recommendations. Every standard there, you will see that as I'm going to take you through, every standard has this connected directly from NEP recommendation, competency-based teaching, encouraging 21st century skills, and there is no silos between scholastic and scholastics, and transforming assessment for student development. Assessments, we are going to talk a lot about it. Assessment for learning, off learning, and as learning. You'll be taken through all of that, and how to measure the holistic report progress card, which makes the child understand how he is progressing, not as a in a competitive manner that your rank is this, but measuring the progress of the child, how much he has improved from what he was doing, how much his communication is improved, what are the skills that he has gathered, individual holistic progress report card. That is what is being aimed at. And the health education has been suggested by National Education Policy, the digital literacy, promoting of multilingual teaching, developing scientific temper, values and ethics play a very focus there on the National Education Policy, and introduction of contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, data science, design thinking, mathematical and computational thinking, experiential learning, continuous professional development for teachers, inclusive practices, and effective governance, increased focus on foundational literacy and numeracy, new pedagogical structure, vocational education, and knowing India. These are some of the recommendations. All of them have been captured very beautifully into the SQAA framework. You will see that as you go through the standards. This is a very beautiful demonstration picturistically about the SQAA framework, the learning experiences of the child being at the center, and giving the skills, 21st century skills on the global, making a global citizen, aiming at making citizens, and competency-based deliverables in the classroom. And the curriculum, you can see at the next cycle, where we are talking about all the curriculum aspects, mathematics, equity, inclusion, literacy, numeracy, you can see all of them. And then various outcome-driven tasks that can be given to the child. This is a very beautiful thing that talks complete about the SQAA framework. And after that, you have the experiential learning, where how reflection and observation and abstract conceptualization can feature in, so that the child is concrete experiences. We address the learner profile and the complete aspect you can share. Somebody has I request, please kindly mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Thank you so much. And so now we are coming to the most important part. We are talking about self-assessment. What is it? What are we talking about self-assessment? Every school has got number of processes. Assembly is a process. Admission is a process. Appointment is a process. And we have our lesson planning is a process. Annual lesson planning is a process. Examining. There's so many processes are happening in a school. And the driving questions for the school to do the self-assessment is, the first step is a review. What are we doing now? What are we doing now, and why are we doing that? What is it that we want to achieve by doing? If you have something as a part of the assembly program, why are you having that initiative there in the assembly? And what are we doing? And where are we now? Are we achieving our objectives? Where are we now? As we are going ahead with whatever we are doing, you first stop a while and take up some processes and check, what are we doing? Where are we now? Why are we doing? And sometimes you will feel that something has been practiced for 15 years. We have lost the objective at all. It's all going on as, as a very routine thing where nobody has addressed it. Nobody has understood why this is being happening. So review allows you to take a look at your own processes and see, to evaluate, where do you stand now? And what are you doing? And why are we doing? And the next step is the most important step, as reflecting on this. If you are analyzing your own process, you find out what is working, what is not working. Maybe something is not working. We wanted to do it, but it never worked. Are you okay with whatever you are, wherever you are, or where you want to go? You can decide where you want to go. Probably you are here now and you want to take them to a particular level, or you want to go up to the top of the table and you want to do exceedingly well. You have benchmarks that are available to you. You see another place where that some school is doing extremely well, and you feel I should be there. I want to take my processes to reach there. So you take up a call that you together with your core team decide, no, we can do better than what we are doing. We are capable of doing. I'm going to go there and see that there. I want to be there now. I don't want to be here. I want you to go up in the ladder. You decide. That's about reflect. After having reflected, how do you respond? How to go there? How will I reach that place? Today I'm here and I want to take my school to this level. How do I do it? How to work for? What is it that I should do? You can deliberate with your team and make the steps where I can go there. Accordingly, you make a plan. Accordingly, you take up an initiative saying that, okay, let us sit together and find out this process is not going so well. We are going to have now readdress the process, revisit our policy, make corrections, corrective measures, course actions will be taken, and we are going to take it to that level. So you decide on that. And then who will take it up? Which is the team that is going to work on it? Do I have a time frame? I want to go there by 6 months from now, or 8 months from now, or 2 years from now. That's a call that you need to take. Decide who will do it, by when will you do it, and how will you do it. Everything you plan it in the response state. You understand, oh, this is how I have to go. Clarity is given to the entire team which is going to work on that particular process and how they are going to work on it. That is respond. And the last one is a rate. How do you rate it? Again, when you've started implementing your plans, you made a new plan, you made a new improvement plan, you start assessing, am I doing rightly? I made some changes. Is it paying any results? Is it paying fruits of our action? How is it going on? Are we making any difference? Earlier it was there. You take up as a punctuality as a process and the latecomers as a process. Does it make a difference to the school now? As things have improved now? Has it improved? Has the attendance got better? If that is your process that you want to visit. Think about it and see whether you are going in the right direction. Are you making a difference? And see whether it is on the right direction. You can say, yes, fine, we are going on the right direction, and implement it, strengthen that and implement it in the school. So achieve your targets, achieve your results. And after some time, again, you can go back maybe after a year or so, revisit and check, now where are we now? What we did, is it working now, or some changes has happened outside? There's some mindset changes that happened in the society today. There are some people, they want differently. My parent wants something else now. Can we do now again? Can we revisit the process again? Periodically, you decide, maybe after a year I will look into it, the process, or after 2 years, again you go through the cycle. This is what is the SQAA framework suggesting to you. The 4R is the most vital role it plays, how to implement self-assessment in your schools. I'm not going to talk about examples here. We have the next session on the 25th of July, when we are having the next session, where you will be given examples how the process and systems management. This is what brings the quality system management in a school. How do you manage the system? It's not about one person who decides, a leader who decides and implements everything, but you'll see that the vision is shared by the principal to the rest of the core team members, and everybody pitch in, everybody at all levels. You have a nursery level, primary level, junior school level, or the middle school. Everybody pitch in and they put their challenges and they address it, and the whole system starts moving so beautifully. The journey forward is really, really very, very fruitful, and you feel satisfied about what you are doing. That is what is SQAA about. We will take you through some examples. We will talk about how to do this 4R assessments when you're doing the self-assessment. That is the important. That is the vital bone of the SQAA framework. 4R, this review, reflect, respond, and rate is the vital role. It is a pillar of SQAA where you are going to do anything and everything you do. You want to become a system managed school, you got to get that aspect into the school system, and see frequently, periodically, you keep evaluating your processes and systems and see what is missing there. Is the quality getting better? And you improve the systems. Slowly, this processes slowly, you will see that the school platform goes up in quality automatically. All the systems and processes get addressed like that. That is what is the SQAA framework about. So basically, I am now going to talk to you about the SQAA framework. It is divided into 7 domains. There are 7 domains which we are going to see, and as I've been repeatedly mentioning about it, it's mapped with the NEP 2020 recommendation. That was the basis for the SQAA framework. All the standards have been designed as per the NEP recommendations, and every standard has got a defined rubrics. You will see that how the rubrics have been clearly given to you. Understand where are you standing to. You can evaluate yourself if you go through the rubrics clearly. And one of the highlights of the framework is we have put an appendix there as provision of safety checklist for all the schools. That's something absolutely amazing. I think sincerely, I feel that every school should visit that appendix. It's a 24-page document which is added as an appendix in the end of the SQAA framework book. You download it and take a look at it. The safety of our children in the school or the teachers is very, very important. There are some critical documents that are required. Conformities are required by the, to take from the school. We are involving so many children in the school. Safety cannot be overlooked at all. And how you look at safety in various aspects, you are seeing that the checklist is very elaborate. There is a safety pledge at the end of it. How to form a safety committee in the school is provided there. You will see that it's a completely a hand-holding exercise given to the schools. You can modify it if you feel so for some of your requirements. I'll realign it, and I think it needs to be applied in all of our schools, because safety cannot be taken for granted by us. We hear so many things happening in different parts of the country. SQAA is concerned about it. SQAA framework has addressed it very, very beautifully. And involvement of all stakeholders in the process of assessment. We talk about every stakeholder is being taken into the account. Parents are there. Children, we are suggesting children should be part of the process assessment, and teachers, parents, and the extracurricular subject. We don't call them as extracurricular now. We have teachers. Other teachers are also becoming a part of the whole system. That's how the involvement is there, and it is assurance rather than accreditation. There is a little issue when you call of accreditation. Accreditation, people think I got accredited and that's the end of it. But assurance is about going. It's a journey that we are taking it forward. And so that is a very beautiful thing. And that there's a defined process. The SQAA domains, I'm going to take you through the domains. The first domain is curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. The very business of where the teaching, learning process in a school is talked about here. And the second domain is infrastructure. And we have human resources. Human resources, you see we have a lot of parents, teachers, the community, and the management, principal. There are a lot of human resource in that. How to optimize their contribution to the school. How to partner with the parent. How to partner with the management. How to partner with the community therein. It's all being there, set as standards there. And the fourth domain is inclusive practices. And we have to draw our attention to the inclusive practices. It's a very, very important domain. Schools need to look at how to include children with special abilities, and all that is something very, very important. It's the high time that every school takes care of, taking care of the inclusivity in the school. That's something that needs to be attended to. Inclusivity, we are not talking just about the children who have some special abilities or special issues. We are talking about even the slow learners in the class, the high achievers. Everything has to be, every child should be embraced in the learning teaching process that he is able to learn. Leaving no child behind is the policy of SQAA framework. And you are going to see that how we can embrace every child into the process of this transformation that we are aiming at. And the fifth domain is the management and governance domain. You will agree with me, governance and management play a very, very important role. It is the organizing the whole thing, organizing the resources, mobilizing the resources, and also organizing in a way where the documentation is taken care. And a lot of data is available in our schools. How often we are utilizing the data? How often you are getting it, using it for the betterment of the school? A large amount of data comes to us in terms of question papers. When you conduct a program, anything, large data is available. Is there a data management system in the school? Whether they are looking into the data to make new changes. When you review it, you will understand, okay, this data shows this, so I need to do this. We have to take data is utilized for the improvement of the school. The sixth one is the leadership domain. And the last one is the beneficiary satisfaction. You have to see that today is a day of satisfying customers. You know that even when children want to go, or parents, adults, we want to go to a restaurant, we want to see what is the rating, then only we go there. So how can we completely take for granted the beneficiaries of the school, the students, the parents, and the teachers? And the principal herself, everybody should be, how are we measuring whether they are happy in the school? How are we measuring whether they are satisfied in a school? There must be mechanism should be there in a school that's going to be talked about in the beneficiary satisfaction process. And we have assigned weightages to all the 7 domains. You will see that curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment, domain 1 is stated as the core domain in the framework because it consists of teaching, learning processes, and learning outcomes are used as a yardstick to measure the quality in education. If the child is coming out with a lot of skills, that shows you are offering quality education in school. It's the tool that which we are measuring it. So that has been given 40% weightage in the domain 1 gets 40% weightage, and the pedagogy and assessment, that's why we're getting 40% weightage. And the emphasis on the improvement of the educational outcomes, NEP underlines the allocation of higher weightage. That's why it's been given. We are justifying why that has got 40%, because it is the higher weightage is given because the educational outcomes are measured there. All other 6 domains each carries 10% weightage. With this having 40%, so total is they evaluated for 100%. And look at the domains, subdomains, and standards and performance indicators in totality rather than in isolation. That's a disclaimer which is have to be given very, very clearly. Do not look at a domain in a very isolation. Collectively look at it in totality. That is something very, very important for us to understand. And they're all seemingly interwoven and need to be viewed as a whole. Then only it will make sense for the SQAA framework, applying it in the true spirit. And the performance indicators, I'm going to take you through that. There are performance indicators. They are corroborated by list of evidences are also giving. They are also suggesting these could be suggestive documents. And so you can easily take it forward how to do the assessment. The anatomy is like this. We have domains. Domains, the broad areas of school functioning, which we have identified, CBSE has identified. From the domains, we have subdomains. The subdomains specify what is in that domain. What are all consisting in that domain, it's talked about in the subdomains. And from the subdomains, we have the standards. The quality of the various aspects of the subdomain defines the subdomain. The standards constitute, the subdomains constitute of the standards. We have thought about what standards are possible in each subdomain, and we have put it in that. And standards have assessment rubrics, performance indicators, and all levels are given. And standards are the guiding principles and policies, and the acting force or principle behind each standard. You can identify the policies. We are also suggesting about that. You'll see that. And we are also going to show you about, I'm going to take you to the next one, is the 4 performance level are against each standard, ranging from 1 to 4. Set of observable actions and practices termed as performance indicators for each performance level. And the supporting documents is the last one. It will, suppose you yourself say that I'm at this level, what is the document which indicates that you are at that level? That is something which we are going to see. Now I have taken this page, the first example to you. I've taken the curriculum, pedagogy and assessment domain 1. You can see the subdomain here, 1.1 is curriculum planning in that. So this is called as a subdomain. And you can see the standard here, 1.1.4, curriculum develops skills and abilities which prepare students for lifelong learning, foster global citizenship leading to attainment of sustainable development goal. That is the standard. I've just picked up one standard. I'm sharing with you how to read it, how to understand. There is a domain, which is the first domain, curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. Under the domain, there are subdomains. One of them I picked up 1.1 curriculum planning. Under the 1.1 curriculum planning subdomain, there are some standards are there. In that one standard, I picked up 1.1.4. Curriculum develops skills and abilities which prepare students for lifelong learning, fosters global citizenship, leading to attainment of sustainable development goal. I would like to take your attention to the state standard very, very clearly. Normally, schools take up SDG goals. They take up, water should not be wasted, or no water, or, energy control, something like that. All schools take up projects to work on the sustainable development goal. they work on it. But it is not the goal that stressed more, but you will see, look at the statement here, it develops skills and abilities which prepare students for lifelong. Are you taking up that project to sensitize children, and they develop skills and abilities, so when they go out of the school, they are contributing to the society as a global citizen? Please understand, that is what we need to look at it when you're looking at the standard. Standard is about sustainable development goal. You have a project, no plastics in the school. The project is taken up by the school. You do this, you do that, you take pictures, you project it. But how will you evaluate whether the child has developed skills that he is not going to use plastic in the society when he goes out, or he becomes an ambassador for being aware that it is a harmful thing for the society? Think about it. So that has to be shown there. That has to be the emphasis on the child. I mentioned it, learning outcome of the child is the center of the entire SQAA process. So we need to focus on the statements, have to be read very clearly. Accordingly, we have to prepare. And we have 4 levels that are mentioned here. You can see the first level is inceptive level. Inceptive level is about the school has aware of the recommendations of NCF, National Curriculum Framework, and the school has done some variation to that. The school is at a very inceptive level. We say that 1, we'll say at the level 1. Level 2, from level 1 to level 2, you will see that there is a small improvement there. There is a timetable, and the school reflects the age-appropriate opportunities that can enhance 21st century skills. And they first identify what are the skills that are required. So they've identified it, and there is a calendar, and there is a timetable. Okay, then now they have started moving. So they are in transient level. And then you see the third level, we call it as the stable level, where the annual planning and the calendar reflects opportunities for that. And also students are given opportunities to participate in inter and interdistrict level competitions to enhance their levels. So we are seeing that there is some action also. There is a timetable, their planning was there only, but the action was not there. So they were at transient level. From transient level, when they go to the stable level, they've started moving now. Some actions are being taken. Children are preparing, and they are going for competitions, or they could be doing some projects in the school, or they become an ambassador for communicating to the society. They are going and in nearby village or somewhere, they are going and creating awareness for them. All this indicates the school is at a stable level. They have now started moving. They are stable level. They have done. And what is a dynamic level? Dynamic level is a part of the school curricular and pedagogical assessment learning in the new pedagogical structure. The 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. There is a provision. There is an assessment policy which will also address this goal, and there is a process there involved. The curriculum itself is very, very, providing the opportunity for children to dwell on this aspect of the sustainable development goals. And more than 50%, and also quantifiable. We are talking about leaving no child behind. So more than 50% of the students are participating and aiming at that. If there is some measurable, it has to be measurable also. And the school creates opportunities for staff and students to interact with each other, or educational institutions at regional level, national level, international levels, and incorporate the best practice. School is looking for best practices. You take a no plastic or no wasting water or energy conservation. Where is the school looking for benchmarking? What is happening in that country? Or what is happening in the school in other part of the country? All that is done. There's a vibrant search for best practices is there, and it's being put into place. And school meets regular and evaluate the impact of the activities. This review is conducted regularly to see whether that process is there in place. And data, I also always mention it again, data is to be utilized for the improvement of the school. Action plans are made so that it will strengthen the system. There are data available. It will indicate, okay, this primary level alone could not take it up. Now what do I do? So you sit with the review of it. You do have the primary coordinators coming in there and contributing how I can improve the system in the primary level and implement it and ensure that it is getting better. It is the strength of the systems getting better. And teachers are mentored on regular basis. Many times some process taken place in the school, and on this all of this sustainable development goal or some process or something, any particular thing, there is no clarity for teachers. Do not know what I have to do, what am I supposed to do in this. So teachers are mentored. They become the taking it forward. They become the they completely communicate it to the students, and they are taking it forward. So this is about the standard. You can see 4 levels. It is there for every standard. You're going to see that how many standards are there. I'm going to show you every standard. You can see if you're at this level, you have to be having. You can read the levels and you can evaluate, okay, I'm in this level only. Maybe I can now make it stable. I'm at inceptive level. Can I go to the stable level? Or I want to go to the dynamic level. The choice is yours and you decide how you want to go. Maybe there's no policy in the school. You draft a policy and all of that. We have a session wherein we'll be talking also about how to draft policies, how to make the systems there. And we also give the performance indicators, or these are all the performance indicators you see under level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, what we have given. They are called as the performance indicators. And then we have the suggested supporting documents reviewed by the school. So you can see the suggested documents, the pedagogical assignment policy should be there, curriculum and pedagogical plan should be there, teacher timetable reflecting the educational program and the philosophy. All of this you can see, anecdotal records of students are maintained, portfolio of students are examples for each stage, list of local artisans and craftsmen involved in the internship, anything, whatever it is, you support this performance indicators that you are doing, supporting documents are there. But it need not be, oh, chalo, I have this, so I am at the inception, the dynamic level. You have to think about what is the impact. The performance indicators are really important. You have to look through, view it very carefully to understand, am I at level 4? I was a part of the pilot study system which was taken up, and I was mentoring 3 of the Kendriya Vidyalayas. And when we did the Kendriya Vidyalayas, first they were asked to fill the self-assessment form, and mostly they put themselves in dynamic level, and then they sent it for us to work with them, and I was mentoring them. And when we took the standards and talked to them, and I mentioned the expectation, the principal asked me, can I take it back and I redo the self-assessment, because I think we are at the transient level in some places, stable level in some places, and the realization of where we are will happen when you go through this thing. And if any support is required, CBSE is willing to offer for all the schools who are filling that uploading this self-assessment document. It should be very good. You do it in the true spirit. That will really help the school. So the level 1 is inceptive level, level 2 is transient level, level 3 is stable level, level 4 is dynamic evolving level. All 4 levels are 1 to 4 to facilitate the assessment of school in each standard. Level 4 is the highest. Level 1, you have to look at it. Don't think I'm at level 1, inceptive level, I'm doing very badly. Think there is an opportunity for improvement for that. Some process maybe you are doing very well. One initiative maybe at level 4 also. But see what has to be addressed. And level 4, under each standard depicts the best practices carrying a score of 4. In order to get a score of 4, the practices followed by the school should reflect the system approach to quality management. Is there a system approach there? And yet another point is, if you're in level 2, you should be satisfying level 1 and 2. If you're level 3, you should be satisfying 1, 2, and 3. And if you're in level 4, you should be satisfying 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what is the highest level there. And how do we make a core team? To start with, we got to make a team. This is the suggestion given by CBSE. You can take a call about it. School self-assessment planning is a process. So you have to have a member representative from the school management, principal, 1 teacher from each level, pre-primary, primary, middle, and secondary level, 1 student from each level, 2 parent members from the Parent-Teacher Association, 2 teachers from co-scholastic domain, 1 counselor, special education, a special educator, or 1 representative from school administration, and 1 IT staff. So involving the entire, community, you make a core team, and you will do the school assessment for you. When you have this, doing the self-assessment, have all of them. All stakeholders to work for achieving the standards set in the 7 domains, thus creating an enabling learning environment in the school. But this is just a suggested minimum. All in SQAA, we don't have any hard and fast rule saying, do this only, do that only. Where is the proof for that? It doesn't work like that. It is about you to decide what you want to do, how you want to take it forward. These are all suggestions that give them, not to leave any stakeholder behind. It's not about the vision, especially you are going to see the leader. Normally the principal decides most of the things in a school, and many people are not even aware why this was done. So it should avoid that. We are talking about involving all the stakeholders. Your vision has to be shared vision to all the members of the team. The stakeholders will make a very, very big advantage to the school. And we have, this is the table which shows there are 7 domains. I already introduced to you these 7 domains. There are subdomains. The domain 1 has 7 subdomains, and it has got 26 standards. And infrastructure has 12 subdomains, has 20 standards. And human resource has got 5 subdomains and 10 standards. Inclusive practices have 5 domains and 7 standards. Management and governance has 10 subdomains and 10 standards. Leadership has 3 subdomains and 5 standards. Beneficiary satisfaction has 6 subdomains and 6 standards. Overall, there are 48 subdomains and 84 standards are there. And for all the 84 standards, we have performance indicators and the suggested documents as provided in the framework. Every document, every standard, you will see that there is a performance indicators are given very, very clearly. So I'm going to take you through all the domains quickly. You can see that this is curriculum planning. Domain 1, these are all the subdomains in the left-hand side corner. You see these are all subdomains. 1.1 curriculum planning is a subdomain under which we have 4 standards. We're talking about principal and teachers familiar with the spirit of NEP recommendation, and the school leaders and teachers familiar with the curriculum documents brought out by CBSE. And all of this, if you go through it, you'll see that this subdomain has 4 standards there, and each standard has been clearly given, the worded here, so you can take the subdomain and the standard and work on it. And 1.2 is the teaching learning process. It again has 4 standards, and each standard has been the teacher-student ratio as per the norms of the suggested. So what are the documents that provide supporting to that? What are the performance indicators of that? All that. 1.3, you see that student enrichment, skill-based vocational education programs are embedded in the annual curriculum and pedagogical plan. So there are again 4 standards are there. School provides ample opportunities for art education. Think about it. And each standard, you have performance indicators followed by that. And then we have the 1.4 is mainstreaming physical education and sports as a subdomain. And you have the 3 standards under that, which talks about school has a policy in promoting health and physical education in schools. And school teaching and of learning of physical education, sports and yoga, other fitness activities, rich and engaging. And you'll see that when you're talking about rich and engaging, how the skill of the child is enhanced. The standard will clearly tell you how you have to read it and understand. I'm not going to show the performance indicators, but we are just taking you through the standards there. And inclusive physical education and sport is an important aspect of the school. It's it's a social commitment that we need to take for the society. We have to see how we can accommodate children with inclusivity. That's something which we need to understand. And 1.5, values and ethos. Whether the school inculcates the climate care, compassion, respect, welcomes diversity, and creates a culture of pride in the school among the stakeholders. The values, how we are going to communicate in the school. Amongst the children and the students and the teachers standing up for the values. It's something very, very challenging. You've got to understand values become values to the child. Till then, how you are presenting it to the children, what are the deliverables in the classroom that it becomes a value to the child. And 1.5.2, you're talking about patriotism here. Schools should inculcate pride towards Indian heritage and in civilization, and encourage students to be conscious of their duty towards society and living beings and nature. Embracing everything, nature and all living beings. We're talking about the country, national pride in the child. And also they take the civilization, the culture, the Indian culture needs to be communicated to the students. And the last one, 1.6, there are 7 domains here. The 6th domain, 6th substandard talks about student performance, assessments of learning outcome, and feedback and learning enhancement mechanism. So that gives you about the assessment. How do you do the assessments? How do you intervene in the class when you're teaching itself? How can you make it a part of the process of your assessment? All that. And the last domain, subdomain, is early childhood care and education and fundamental literacy and numeracy is the last standard there. We got early childhood education as a stage has been part of national education policy. So we have to see how these 4 standards are there in that. So this is how, if you see, domain 1 has 7 subdomains, and it has got, you can see totally 26 standards are there. If I'm right, I think we are having 26 standards there in that. Yeah, you can see here, there are 26 standards here. The 26 standards are available in that, which I just rushed you through that, taking you that. So then you have the second infrastructure. If you see, this is about the first domain one. Second domain, you take infrastructure, adequacy, and functionality and aesthetics. You have again subdomains here and the standards here. I'm not going to read everything, but if you open the SQAA framework, you will see that the subdomains are here. There are 12 subdomains are there in the second domain, infrastructure, and there are standards are there under each subdomain. You can see that every standard you have performance indicators. Any standard you can take and you can evaluate yourself and work it out. There are hostels are there 2.10. It's not applicable. You don't have to worry about it, the day schools. But wherever the schools are there, where you have dormitories and all of that, you've got to take care of that again. And then we have the human resource. Again, you can see the 5 subdomains are there. Teaching and non-teaching staff, parents, students, alumni community, and you can see that there are standards are there, how you are recruiting staff, whether the policy, the vision is communicated and all of that. This is inclusive practices. There are barrier-free environment, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.6, and there are 5 subdomains, and then these are, you can see that 7 standards are there in that. And then management.
Recorded meeting
Can you please mute your mics, please? Somebody is unmuted. Kindly mute yourself. Thank you so much. And then you have the standards. Accordingly, you have 6 standards are there. And management and governance has 10 subdomains, and we have all the 10 subdomains. Each one has a standard. 10 standards are there. Leadership, we have 3 subdomains, and we have 5 standards available in that. And then the last one is the beneficiary satisfaction, 7.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 subdomains, and accordingly 6 standards are there available. So this is the SQAA process. SQAA, the structure, the skeleton of SQAA, I just shared with you how you read the SQAA manual, how you read the SQAA framework. And so what is the process overview? The process overview, we are talking about self-assessment by school on the SQAA framework. That's the most and foremost. We want schools to take up. The process is to do a self-assessment. After forming a core team, you form a core team, let the framework be read by the entire core team, share it with everybody, go through it, and then you do a self-assessment on the SQAA framework. You put yourself in whatever, all the 84 standards, you can place yourself at which levels you are. And you decide what are the areas where I feel I'm not doing well, how am I going to take out and prepare an improvement plan. Do a gap analysis when you're doing the self-assessment. You do the review of your systems and understand where it is not happening well and what should happen there. And you can work on the planning, the gap analysis. Corrective measures are taken and you prepare an improvement plan. Improvement plan is very specific. You have who will be taking it up, by when you will complete it, when and where and how you will make the corrections should be put it there clearly. And where you want to go, you mentioned there is a structured format given for the school improvement plan in the SQAA framework where you say, I'm at this level. Say, for example, I take any processes, say teacher career development program. You mentioned that this program probably you have a standard there, write the standard there and mention that I'm at this level 2 now, maybe I'm at a transient level. I want to reach the dynamic level 4. And then you say, what are all the challenges that you face? And what are the things that need to be addressed? Identify who will be addressing, by when you will be addressing it, or by what will be the team that will be working it. If it is not one person, a team will be working on it. And what are all the corrections that you will be doing? And you will implement it for how long? And then again, assure that the correction happens. So up to the improvement plan, you have to be uploading there. You can say this particular standard, I'm at this level. I want to go to this level. I want to go rise myself to that level. And I prepare an improvement plan. This policy will be revisited. I'll make a new policy or make corrections in the policy, or I'll make these processes. And this team will work there. This is the principal and the counselor and some team members will work on it. I will achieve this by 3 months. So what is the process of implementation? I'll say I'll devise this, do this, do this, do this. Keeping the student learning outcome as a central in your mind. Prepare the improvement plan and roll it out. and upload this improvement plan also. You can take your time and roll out the plan. Implementation can happen, but this is what we are expecting you to do, that implementation of school improvement plan, time frames to be decided by the respective school. I want to achieve it, I want to take 1 year to achieve this, it's fine, but you want to decide when you want to do it, when you have to take it. That is the process there. So these are all things you can talked about here very, very elaborately about the process here. So we have to start the journey of learning together. See about how empathy and compassion, we are in the journey of learning together is collaborative and constructive approach has been taken. Taking accountability, being a part of the whole system, I take accountability for it. Learning together and sharing of innovative ideas, how you share innovative ideas, sharing of the best practices. In a department meeting, when you're having a department meeting, when you're sharing the innovative ideas that you're doing, innovation gets nurtured in a school. Innovation gets nurtured in the school, and SQAA provides an opportunities for that. And we need, when we're taking the journey forward, these are all things that we need. We should have an approach of working together with people, and we need to have empathy and compassion for the whole children and staff members who are working together, and be able to take the accountability for improving the process, learning together, and sharing of innovative ideas should be become very, very, become an important culture in the school. And we should be willing to learn and grow. Seeing from others, learning, willing. There is the best practice, the neighbor school, which is doing very well. There's nothing, we are willing to learn from them, and growing together is something which is very, very, the opportunity that is provided to us by SQAA, and the positive attitude. You will develop, nurture with positive attitude and our beliefs. That is all about it. So, are we ready to take a transformational leader, or we want to take up a transformational leader? If you have any questions, answers you can give, you can put it in the chat box. We can take it forward from here. Any questions? Anybody would like to unmute and ask questions?
Those who have joined us on WebEx platform can raise hand and ask question if they have any, and those who have joined us on YouTube can put the questions in the chat box. We'll be very happy to answer you all. And I would request Shanti ma'am to put the last slide once again, so that everybody can note down the email ID, phone numbers where they can contact us if they have any queries for SQAA.
Yeah, please note this. You can please write to CBSE and have your queries. It will be addressed. You can please make a note of this. Any clarity you need, anything, please do put in your questions. So we would like to take it forward.
So this is the last slide where all the contact details are there. There is a phone number, there's an email ID, and of course all the material for SQAA is available on cbseacademic.nic.in. You can go there and see various kind of material there, videos and other things. If you have any query, please ask in the chat box. All the resource persons are eagerly waiting for your questions.
For any, Anjani ma'am, would you like to inform them for any technical lags and all of that, they should reach to CBSE?
Yes, ma'am. For anything, they can reach to CBSE. For technical, for academic, for any input they want on SQAAF, they can reach out to us, write to us. And if they want, they can write in the chat box. Right now, I don't see any question, but everybody has praises for you, Shanti ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So with this, we come to...
You want me to sum up anything else, Sanjali ma'am, since we have time? Anything else I should elaborate, or anything? If somebody wants any elaboration on anything else, probably I can take it up and do it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all your invaluable inputs.
Yes. Any clarity, anything you need, please let me know. You can unmute and speak also. Those who are in the WebEx meeting. Yes, Gyandeep Vidyalaya. Vidya Bhavan, sorry. Yes, sir. You can unmute. Can they unmute, Anjali ma'am?
Yes, they can unmute. And if they are not able to, they can put their query in the chat box here also. Gyandeep Vidya Bhavan Senior Secondary School, Yamuna Vihar, Delhi. Dheeraj, can we unmute everyone?
I think they are not able to unmute.
I think they.
Any questions in the YouTube? You can place it here. You can take it forward.
Any question from the panelists?
Kalpana ma'am, can you elaborate? Anything I should elaborate more?
I think some of the questions that are coming up, one is on the timeline. That what is the likely timeline for submission, etc. Any suggestive activities for achieving dynamic levels?
The performance indicators are there. In the dynamic level, you see the performance indicators are there. It is specific to that particular standard. If it is specific to that standard, you can plan accordingly and see that you are moving from one level to another. And the timelines, affiliation timelines, Anjali ma'am, would you like to talk about it? Before affiliation, they have to upload, right?
For upgradation or extension of affiliation, they have to fill the form which is available as per the circular. So that they need to go to the website and check the details there.
Okay. Yeah.
So one was on the timeline. So maybe in terms of affiliation, the affiliation body would be giving them the timelines. The other is on the level at which the schools are. So I think in the SQAA framework, if you read that document, the introductory pages, it would be written there that you have a period of 2-3 months to do your gap analysis, to form your core team, as Shanti ma'am said. And then to review where you are, do your 4-hour review, reflect review, respond and rate, and then start improving and on the prioritized areas. So you won't be able to think of that, okay, today overnight we'll be doing all the 7 domains, but you could prioritize which are the gap areas. It could be pedagogy, it could be assessments, it could be inclusive practices, it could be safety, security, policy. So whatever you prioritize, it's good. The onus is on you. What you deem to be important for your school in your region. India being such a diverse country, CBSE cannot give you a capsule that this will work for you in Chennai or in Muradabad or in Ghaziabad or in Bhubaneswar. So we'll have to chalk out our own quality guidelines as to where we wish to be. So somewhere around 6 to 9 months of a period it does take. So even if you fill up on the SQAA portal as it is suggested that by the end of the year, even if you do it, but if you find gaps in it, feel free to rework on them, because in case you have to upload again the same data, you could do with an improved version also. But our suggestion is only, and CBSE's suggestion is only, that do it as honestly as you can. Because in any case, everyone can't be looking at every school into depth. So it's your school. Take it as your, quest for excellence and quality consciousness, and take that time period. Take this 1 year. We are lucky CBSE is giving us 1 year here to improve, grow, make our own improvement plans. Yes, Shanti ma'am, I think that is what
Yes.
is expected, right?
Correct. When they do the self-assessment, they will know, depending on the course correction that they are doing in gap analysis, there are certain things maybe they may need some time to, come to the dynamic level. There are some certain things maybe will not take so much time. So it's a call that the school needs to take on their own, where they, how long the time they would require. But there should be a time frame reference in that improvement plan so that they work accordingly.
And do share whatever queries you have on the mail ID that Shanti ma'am had shared in the last slide, so that if there is anything that we missed out, we will try and cover it up in the coming few sessions. For example, people wanted to know about anecdotal records. They wanted to understand about collaborations, as what I saw in the YouTube, and where to upload and how to self-assess. So we'll be taking it up also in the subsequent sessions, as well as answering you on the mail what you send. So your technical queries as well as academic queries would be answered promptly by the CBSE team. So not to worry on that. I think as Chairperson ma'am said that the whole idea of this year is to handhold you, support you, because we know that everybody is at different levels, and it's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay at whatever level we are on. So one was on anecdotal records, the other one was on whether you'll get the PPT or not. That was another common thing coming up. So I think the PPT that, everything what Shanti ma'am said is there in the framework. So you won't actually need the PPT. So, and one more query that has come up is how the assessment will be done and who's going to do it. So once again, don't worry on that. You be your own auditor. You be your own mentor. There is no third party agency. Anjali ma'am, am I correct? Pragya ma'am, am I correct that there is no third party agency coming in, right?
Right now, there are no such plans, ma'am, and there are few queries regarding the corrections they want to do in their OSs and all these things. So I would request them to email with proper details of their school so that we can directly contact them and ask our affiliation unit also to support them for OSs.
Yeah, it's been clearly mentioned by the chairperson, that very initially it's all going to be hand-holding and supporting the schools. We will evolve further as we go forward and see how it all goes, and maybe how we to find out whether the supporting documents are, appropriately identifying the levels and all of that probably will be done later. But right now, it's all a hand holding and mentoring and all of that. And as I already mentioned to you, lot of the whole SQAA framework, when it was planned and decided, first thing CBSE did was they identified 24 schools, and a pilot project was taken up. And 8 of us, we all did mentoring three schools, and we worked with them, and we worked for almost 3 months with them to and make them give them clarity on the various aspects of SQAA, how they have placed themselves, and what are the what is quality they're talking about, and what we are talking about the system management there. Where is the system thinking approach is there or not when I work on it. And then it was a very, very interesting way when the people when we worked on it, they could really understand what is actually expected out of SQAA. And then ultimately, finally, they uploaded the documents, and the documents were very clearly indicating the levels in which they were all in various standards. And they also uploaded the improvement plans, so that probably schools are working on it right now. The data collected from them, the feedback of every session we conducted was collected by CBSE. The data was studied. It's again a system thinking approach in this SQAA. Implementing SQAA was taken up. Data was studied, analyzed, and then some standards were revisited and corrected, and all of that has happened. And the final thing is here. And actually, as chairperson said, you could come out with your suggestions also, and you can see as you are implementing on the way forward, anything that needs to be addressed, you can write to CBSE. I'm sure they're going to look at it. It's a process. It's a working together as a process, and taking our own schools to a better standard from wherever we are now. The quality getting improved. You got to imagine in a school improving the various processes, attending to some processes, 10, 15 of it in your school, and then each process getting uplifted in terms of student learning outcome. That much, if you see every school does, the complete education in the country go to the next platform. That's why I say it's a nation building exercise, taking up SQAA, and we should be inspired to take it up in a way that we can contribute to the education system of the country. That's what we need to look at it like that.
So quick few queries are here.
Yes,
what is the support from CBSE and all? So that I think a lot of work is in progress in terms of creating self-paced learning material for all the schools, so that each domain, the concept behind it, the implementation would be easier, but the understanding of that standard, understanding the interpretation of that standard could become an issue. So that is where CBSE is planning on, building up its resources. Feel free to share in case you have any resources that you can share with the other schools. We would be very happy to put them into that platform. That was one. Plus, CBSE is also in the process of creating a cadre of mentors. So there's going to be a selection process also for mentors, and then a training program for them, so that we build up in every region. We have a set of mentors who can help and guide. Because a few people alone, we all know that without collaboration, nothing is going to happen in the scenario that we are in today. Another question is on how to collate the documents. So as Shanti ma'am said, not to worry on evidences to get the outcome, but focus on the process. So when we do the session on 25th also, we would be focusing on the process. When you focus on the process, you'll be able to understand what kind of documents would get collated. So probably that over a period of time, by the time we finish with these 12, 13 modules that we have, you'll have a lot more clarity. So another question is, can we take...
Kalpana ma'am, can I also add on to that point, Kalpana ma'am?
Yes,
So I think one thing I would suggest is that not to worry about documentation to start with. It's
Yeah.
not the documentation which what happens then. There is a tendency that, chalo, let us make this document and file. Let us make this document and file it. That is not the whole idea about. The whole idea is about, if you are in level 1 in all the processes also, nobody is going to brand you that you are in level 1. It is for you to creating an awareness on quality, whether you have a system thinking approach in the school. That is what is the whole purpose of SQAA is about. So for doing that, you do not have to jump to the documentation right now. Work on this, understand, do a self-assessment to see where you are honestly, and evaluate yourself and see what you can do to go to the level where you aspire to. Let us focus on that. And as the process, and one very important thing is that I realize it is that when you're shifting your focus to documents, you miss out on the main aspect of SQAA, that is the student learning outcome enhancement measuring. That we should not miss it out under any cost. So see that every child is getting, there's a change in the student. The mindset is changing after you taking up this process. The child is becoming a better person because of this process that you have instituted. So that should be the main idea. And when you have that focus, automatically you will know which document projects that kind of a change of mindset, change of transformation that is happening in the child. That is what we are looking at, and understanding whether the school is implementing good quality systems in place. So keep your yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
Shanti ma'am is trying to tell you is, don't make the documents your Gabbar Singh, as we are fond of saying. Huh?
Yeah.
Let your processes dictate your school practices. The other question that is also coming up is, and there's a very cute question, the very sweet one, and I really loved it, that we had done our uploading, but after the session, can we redo? Shanti ma'am, credit to you.
Yes, I shared it, Kalpana ma'am. It did happen when we did the pilot study.
Yeah.
They gave me the sheet with all 4 and 3s and all of that. And then after the session, they said, can we take it back and redo it? Now I understand.
You will be getting an opportunity again in a year's time. And you'll be able to, but you'll be very happy with the changes that you're making in your own school. One more question that is here is, are there any changes in assessment plans for primary grades? So my suggestion would be to look into your 1.7, I think, your early childhood care education in domain 1. The subdomain is 1.7. Do look into those indicators there in those standards, and also the document that has come out for FLN, Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. It's a beautiful document, and the assessment is in the form of curricular goals for the little ones. So it's a lovely document that you can have a look at. It's there on the Google Baba, and you can have a look at it. And SQAA, how does it relate to NCF? So it's all linked, right? The SQAA could not have come up without the guidelines of NCF 2005, the new NCF that has come in, the NEP that has come in. So SQAA is completely aligned to that. If during the process something new comes up, I'm sure you'll be able to integrate it. And how does SQAA relate to holistic report card? If you go through domain 1, curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, student empowerment programs, life skills, value education, vocational education, if you're preparing anecdotal records, your children are preparing portfolios, you will have enough data to put into your holistic report card. Incidentally, we are not calling it report card. It's going to be called as holistic progress card. So the terminology changes tell you it's not a report you're sharing with the parent that your child is doing well in this or not doing well in this, but sharing the progress your child is making in certain skills. So that Shanti ma'am took up so beautifully 1.1.4, where the focus is on skills. So examples for curriculum and pedagogy, we will be taking it up.
Also, ma'am, I like to add here also, the progress is something, how the child is growing, how the child is progressing. Individual is customizing to how he is improving from what skills he's gathering and how he's getting better.
Yeah, so the whole focus is on the growth. Similarly, CBSE wants each school to focus on their own growth. There's a question about NABIT also. So NABIT also focuses on quality consciousness. Right now, the session is on SQAA, so we are focusing on that. But NABIT is also quality consciousness. ISO is also quality consciousness. So if we develop a quality conscious mindsets, I don't think we can go wrong. And one of the questions that had come up was on, if this was on, can we take 1 or 2 domains instead of all? It's up to you. But my suggestion would be to take the decision after going through the framework. So go through the framework with your core team, take 1 month, 2 months, go through the framework, decide with your core team, what are you ready for? And which is the gap area in your school that is impacting the learning of the child. And then pick up those 2 to 3 prioritized areas. You may not even take up domain, you may even take up areas. So once again, it's flexible. It leaves it to the school to decide which level they would like to improve upon. And again, don't worry if we again focus on maximum range, how much should we score? We should be at the highest score. So let's get away from that focus on marks. That norm referencing that we talk about in assessments, that we are assessed by, if I'm a 40 percenter, I'm a useless person. If I'm a 90, 80 percenter, I'm a great person. So I think we need to get rid of that, if that mindset. And then yes, you're also going to tell me, but CBSE board exam में तो है ना, तो वो भी changes आएंगे. CBSE is in that process, but it cannot do changes overnight because all schools are not at the same levels. So CBSE cannot make those overnight changes, but wherever we can, it gives us the liberty till grade 8 at least to build up the skills of our children. So I think when our report cards start looking different, when they start showing skills instead of English, Hindi, math, science, we will have arrived.
And also, ma'am, how they have improved, how the child is gradually getting better and better, the skills, how his skills are getting better, reflects in the report card. It's a measured, progress is measured. Rather than mentioning where he is placed in the class, out of 40 students, where he is, instead of that, you measure, he was in the last exam to this exams, his English skills or speaking English skills have improved, or his writing skills have improved by this much percent. You can even measure, quantify it, and put it in the card. I think that will make a holistic approach, and also customized. It become customized with the child's progress.
So another question, do foreign schools get a mentor? Please write a mail to CBSE. They'll reply to that. And also, will there be any acknowledgement for exemplary practices? So I think, ma'am or sir, whoever's written this, your acknowledgement would be your school's reputation going up, your children being happy in the school, your teachers being happy, and you are an acknowledged principal for bringing about a revolutionary change in your own school. I think that's the best recognition and acknowledgement that you could ever hope for, right? And that's what we're trying to cultivate in all the schools. May sound a little philosophical, but yes. So let's look at bringing about change in our education system. We've got an opportunity. We have a platform right now to make that change happen. Let's make use of it. And I think all of us in history will go down that these schools CBSE schools in the year 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 are the ones who brought about a change in our educational pattern. I think that would be something to really look forward to. Right? So, Deepa ma'am is also here. Deepa ma'am, have I missed out any? She's been kindly sending us queries from the chat box. So,
Thank you so much, ma'am. And Shanti ma'am, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anjali ma'am, thank you for this initiative with Pragya ma'am's direction and our chairman ma'am's direction. What is best is I'm closing the comment. It says a thank you. This informative session has given us information we are now not afraid of. SQAA.
Lovely. Thank you, Shanti ma'am.
Thank you.
You've removed the Gabbar Singh.
Yes. Yeah, that's one thing which I realized out of my experience with the pilot study school. The documenting is becoming a big issue for them. Everybody is worried what documents to collect, what document to do, and then they go into it and then end up with something else, not actual SQAA, something else. That is a different ball game altogether.
We'll make mistakes, we'll stumble, we'll fall, we'll kind of get back, and we'll all learn during this 1 year's time. There's going to be a lot of learning happening. And this is for you, Anjali ma'am. Is there any attendance to be done for the...
Everybody's worried about that. They want to have
there is no attendance and a lot of people are asking for certificates. So it's our self-learning. I think that does not need any.
Kalpana ma'am, it's nice to see people are writing now. We are not scared of SQAA.
Yes, that's wonderful, ma'am.
That's nice.
So please.
And after I think 13 sessions which we have planned, I think everybody will be confident of doing their own analysis of school through this SQAA process, and then they'll be able to guide others also.
And Pragya ma'am, Anjali ma'am have a whole cadre of mentors ready for you.
Absolutely.
So don't worry on that also. We'll try and all anyone who would also they were kind of ready for it can also apply for being a mentor, and you'll get your the process and all is being built up right now. So in the next, I think 2-3 months, we'll be able to roll out that also. Right, Anjali ma'am, Pragya ma'am? Yeah.
Yes.
So feel free to send your queries to the mail ID that was shared by Shanti ma'am. Please feel free.
And there was one more question. Somebody was asking, will you conduct this session for teachers? Today's session was also for teachers too. This is available on our YouTube channel. So anybody can go to the channel and watch it again. You can share the link with your teachers also in your school. And that will be beneficial for everyone, I think.
Yeah. So a big kickoff today to change the history of education.
Yes, ma'am. And I hope we can now wind up the session here and start our preparations for the next session, which is on 25th. Same time.
Ma'am, I think we should suggest all the participants to note down some queries and things,
yes, that is what I
That's why a lot of time was given for question answer sessions so that we could interact and understand. When somebody asks a question, the answer reaches to many people. So it's good that you be prepared for a lot of questions when you're attending the sessions. It will be very good. It will make a very, vibrant. The sessions will be more vibrant then.
Yes, and we will really appreciate if you send your queries on the email ID we have shared, so that we have our answers ready for during the next session. We can reply all those queries which are there, and of course on email also we'll be replying. So for larger benefit, of course, we will be replying on the live webinar. So can we formally end the session and say thank you to everyone?
Meenu ma'am wanted to say something, I think. Meenu
Joshi. Yes, sure, ma'am. Meenu ma'am.
Can unmute and speak, ma'am.
I just want to thank all of you for giving such large information to us regarding SQAAF. That actually, as you are saying, that it is a terror to us that what is the SQAAF and that how our schools are participating and all that. Thank you all of you. Thank you CBSE team and the members here. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you to Shanti ma'am for such a wonderful session. Thank you to Kalpana ma'am and Deepa ma'am for answering all the queries which are there on YouTube. Thank you to our director, Dr. Pragya Singh, for giving us free hand to conduct this program. Thank you to our chairperson for addressing during the start of the session. Thank you to all the regional officers, directors, and all the other officials for encouraging us by their being present in this webinar throughout. Thank you everyone who is listening to us on YouTube, and thank you for all the appreciation we have got in the YouTube chat box. And thank you, and big thank, I'll give you time, ma'am, let me complete. So thank you to our IT team, which is led by Mr. Dheeraj, for conducting this whole session and putting it live on YouTube also. And now over to Kalpana ma'am, she wants to say something.
No, one more thank you to our other resource persons who would be taking the sessions also. So we have Manju ma'am with us and Rita ma'am also. So, and yeah.
And one thing I would like to say here, this whole session is possible, everything is possible only because two officers who were earlier working on this SQAAF module, and I would like to mention their names, and you all are familiar with them also. One is our Director Academic, Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, and the other one is Ms. Ramandeep Kaur, who is our Deputy Secretary. So thank you to them also, and thank you everyone. Thank you. And with this, we come to the end of this session, and we will all wait for you on 25th at 3 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.